Hi guys, welcome back to Sew Crafty Nana. My name is Teresa and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And today I have another Christmas project for you. This is a second Christmas project that I've posted. I posted one making gift tags, simple, easy gift tags last week. And if you missed that, I'll go ahead and I'll pop that up in the cards so that you can watch that. But today I'm going to show you how to really capitalize on some of the beautiful designer series papers that we have. I was looking through my Christmas papers and I thought, how can I really showcase these papers in cards and do them very simply and very quickly. So that's what I've got for you today. I'm going to show you 4 cards, and we're going to make 2 of these cards today, but I'll show you all 4 of them. So the first one I have here, let me pull it up to the screen so that it'll focus on that. And so these are book fold cards. And so it opens up, and so you have the stationery part right here. So that's how the card works. So this is a side fold book fold card, and here's another one. I'll show you that. Sorry about the glare on there. I'll talk a little bit about this beautiful paper as we're making. And then I made 2 top fold cards. So here's a top fold one. This is my absolute favorite. I just love this. See if I can get the glare off of the label here. All right. And then here's the last one that's a top fold card. And there's that one. And again, so you've got your stationery part there, and it opens up like that. Okay. So these book fold cards, this is one of my favorite folds. I just love it. Super simple to make. You see very little decoration on there, but really impactful and beautiful cards. So I'm going to show you how to make a couple of these, and I might show you a few other samples that I have that are non-Christmassy as well. So if you're interested in seeing that, stay with me. If you like this video and you enjoy my content, please give me a thumbs up, and I would love it if you would subscribe. I'm posting once a week right now, and I would just love to have you as part of my family. So let's get started making these.
All right, so again, here are the cards. I'm going to go ahead and move my hands if you want to take a screenshot of these cards just to sort of remember what they look like before we get started. We're going to go ahead and create this card and this card. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the fold for just a second. So I'm calling these side fold and these top fold, but essentially what I'm giving you is the 2 different measurements. This could be a vertical card that just opens like this if you wanted to do that. So this is one set of measurements, and then the same here if you wanted to make this a vertical card that opens towards the top, you could do that as well. So it's 2 sets of measurements, but you truly could have them horizontal or vertical, whichever way you wanted. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood that. But in my diagram that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that diagram up here right now on the screen for you. But in this diagram, I call it a side opening and a top opening to basically just give you those 2 sets of measurements. So that's what that's for. That diagram also is available on my website, so if you follow the link below in the description, you will go over to the blog post that's associated with these cards, and that diagram is in there as well as instructions on how I assembled and the products that I used for each one of these cards. So we're going to do this one and this one, so I'm going to move these other 2 out of the way for right now, and I think we're going to start with the Joy card. So just a little bit about this card. So this one uses this paper, this designer series paper is actually called Shining Christmas, and it is a online exclusive paper. And then I've got a Mossy Meadow is my card base, and then white for my insert. I used Cherry Cobbler for my ink, both on the inside and the outside, and this is a little bit of Cherry Cobbler for that outside oval. And then I just used an iridescent ribbon from the catalog and some little gems, and I'll show you those in just a few minutes. So really that's all there is to this. I went ahead and I have a little kit here with all my pieces in it. So I've already done the cutting, but I'll talk to you about the dimensions as I go. But again, you can get that diagram either reverse and take a screenshot from the video, or you can go over to my blog post and get that diagram as well. So I've got my little pieces here of what I need for assembling this card. So my card base is just your regular half fold card base. It's 4 and a quarter inches by 11 inches, scored in half at 5.5. And then you've got that extra score line in here, and that's that score line at 4 1/4 is where that is. So this square actually becomes a 4 1/4 inch square for that piece. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab a bone folder and just give this a good crease. And then also I'm gonna fold that crease back for my little flap piece, and I'm going to go ahead and give that a crease. Now on this one, I'm gonna go ahead, since there's no ribbon on this piece, I'm gonna go ahead and just glue that down right away. So I'm just gonna take my Stampin' Seal Plus and put some of that right here on this piece. This is my bookbinding piece, and I'm just gonna go ahead and fold that closed. So there's my bookbinding card. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and assemble these 2 pieces here. So I have the white layer and then the Designer Series paper piece. And I prefer to use multi-purpose glue for this. So I'm gonna grab my multi-purpose glue. And the only reason I prefer it is it gives me a little wiggle room just to get it lined up. So if I don't have it perfectly lined up, I can do a little bit of sliding. This is only going to have a very small margin around it, so I really want to try to get that even as I can. So there's that piece, and then I'm going to do the same with this small piece. And attach that one to the white layer. So let me just go over the measurements of these pieces here. So the white layer is 4 1/8 inches square, and then this layer is 1 1/8 by 4 1/8. And then the inside, the Designer Series paper, that's a 4 by 4 layer here and a 1 by 4 layer here. And then we're just gonna go ahead and attach those to our card front. This card comes together super quick, which is one of the reasons it's one of my favorite folds. It's a really nice, pretty card, but so quick to get put together, especially when you have these beautiful Designer Series papers. All right, so we're going to go ahead and apply both of those to the front. And then I just realized I don't have my white piece for the inside, so my inside layer. So I'm gonna have to cut that in a second. I'll do that in just a minute. We'll go ahead and decorate the front first. So let me put this on. And I'm gonna grab my oval punch. So this is the double oval punch. It cuts out the scalloped circle as well as the plain circle. And I just want a scalloped circle in the Cherry Cobbler. Couldn't think of what red it was. Wanted to say Real Red, but I knew that was wrong. So this is Cherry Cobbler. And then let me go ahead and grab that white and my paper trimmer. And I'm going to need an insert for this card as well as the other one. So I need 4 1/8 by 4 1/8 for this one. So I'm just going to cut this just at 4 1/8, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut again at 4 1/8. All right, and so there's my inside layer, and we can go ahead and do our stamping. And I think I have some scraps. I do have a scrap that we can use for that oval. I'm gonna go ahead really quickly and cut my other piece, my other layer for the other card, which is 2 3/4 by 5. All right, get that one cut so that I don't have to pull this out again. All right, we're done with that. And actually, I'm looking at my measurements, and my inside layer should have been 4 by 4, but I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it at 4 1/8. It'll fit inside there. It'll just have a smaller border, and I'm okay with that. So let me set this one here. I need, oops, bumped my light. I need Cherry Cobbler, and we're going to use the Joy stamp for the oval. And then on the inside on this one, I used Wishing You a Season of Hope and Light. All of the sentiments that I'm using today come from the Brightest Glow stamp set. This is a fantastic Christmas and New Year sentiment set, both inside and outside greetings or sentiments. I just love this one. I use it over and over again. So I'm going to be using that for both the cards we make tonight. So this is Cherry Cobbler, and I'm going to take my Joy stamp, ink that up, and we're just going to go ahead and stamp that here. And I should have probably stamped it farther towards the bottom because of the positioning of where the stamp is on here. That's probably not going to fit down there, so I'm just going to flip it over, and I'm just going to do it again. And this time I'm going to put it closer to the bottom so that I'll be able to cut that out easier from that stamp. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and, I called that a stamp, it's a punch, sorry. We're going to go ahead and get this inked up, and I'm going to put that sort of centered towards the top on the inside. There we go, beautiful. We'll put that Cherry Cobbler to the side. I am going to clean my stamps really quickly. All right, I like to clean them up as quickly as I can. And we're just gonna go ahead and put this insert inside. I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue again. Okay. And again, this is going to have a very small border because I cut it wrong. Yours will have a little bit more of a border if you cut this 4 by 4 instead of 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. But it's fine, I don't mind. And we'll go ahead and punch out my Joy stamp. And this actually barely fits inside this oval, but I really like that. There we go. That off to the side. All right, and then you have choices here. So you can apply this Joy flat and then pop this whole thing up on dimensionals. You can put this down flat and pop your Joy up on dimensionals, whichever you choose to do. I'm just gonna go ahead and put mine down flat and then put the whole thing on dimensionals. So a little bit of glue on there. Center that inside. Make sure I'm in camera. We'll get some dimensionals. Pop a couple of those on there. And I wanted to show a lot of the paper, so I was picking the corner, but you could totally put this in the center or really anywhere you want on that card. And maybe I'll center it on this one rather than doing the bottom corner. So I'm just gonna put it like right in there. And then I'm gonna take my ribbon. This is the last thing we have to do. Take the ribbon and let's get a nice little bow. If I can grab it. I think it's stuck to my finger. I think I have multi-purpose glue on my finger and it's stuck. There we go. All right. I love this iridescent ribbon. It makes the prettiest little bows, I think. Just so pretty and so easy. Get my fabric scissors. Okay. And then I think I'm just gonna pop that down there. And I'm gonna do that with a glue dot. Gonna pop a glue dot on the back of the bow, and we're gonna pop that down there just like that, and that card is finished. So we have a beautiful card, and that was quick. These cards are just, I love them for that reason. They're just so quick to make. Now we're gonna do this one. I'm gonna pull out my, oh, I forgot my gems. Forgot my gems on the other one. We can't do that. So these are the adhesive backed glitter sequins. These are my favorite, and I think they're retiring at the end of the year. I just love these. They're very flat and they just have such beautiful sparkle. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my take your pick and use the putty end, and we're just gonna stick a few sequins out here. Big ones and some little ones. And maybe we'll put one down there. I just love these. They're beautiful. We're going to use those as well for the next card. So now we're finished. All right, and on to the blue one. So this is my most favorite card of all of these versions of the Christmas cards, and I have a couple of extras to show you at the end here. But this one, I just love Balmy Blue. So this is a Balmy Blue base, white layer, and then I actually had picked this snowflake print originally, and then I happened to turn it over in order to glue it down, and I thought, oh, I love the trees. So you could use either side. This designer series paper is gorgeous. And this designer series paper is actually a Walk in the Forest paper from our mini catalog that expires in December. And this is going away, this paper. It's retiring. I just love it. It's beautiful. It has this beautiful balmy blue in it. It has a little bit of, I think that's pretty peacock in there. I just love it. It's so pretty. So this is the one we're going to make now. And we're going to give this our burnish. And now this card base is actually the 5.5 by 8.5 card base. So it's your 5.5 by 8.5, scored in half at 4 1/4, and then it's also scored at 3 inches, and that gives you your book fold piece. Now for this one, I am going to add this ribbon to the top, so I don't want to glue this down yet. We want to leave this open until after we've added our ribbon. So we need to put our designer series paper and layers on first before we glue that down. That's really important. If you glue it down, you can't tuck your ribbon and hide it and hide the ends. So we're going to go ahead and use my multi-purpose glue again. Add our layers to the white, our designer series paper to the white layer, and then our white layer to the card base. So pretty. I love these trees. Such a nice wintry scene. Okay. next designer series paper to the white layer. So these pieces, just to give you the measurements on these outside pieces, the white layers, oops, let me make sure I get this straight, or at least semi-straight. The white layers are 2 7/8 by 5 1/4 and 1 1/8 by 5 1/4. And then the designer series paper is 1 inch by 5 inches and 2 3/4 by 5 inches for those two pieces. And then your inside layer is 2 3/4, so it's the same as this designer series paper, 2 3/4 by 5 to go inside here. And those measurements are on that guide that I showed you earlier, and also once again they're on my blog, so you can hop over there and get that as well. All right. Oh, yes. I love it. I just love this. So then I'm going to take my ribbon and I just want to go a little past the ends, and I'm going to snip that off. And then I like to use seal for the inside when I do a ribbon, but you can use whatever adhesive. If you use glue, you might have to hold it for a few minutes just until that dries to get your ribbon to stick. But essentially what I'm doing is sticking my ribbon on the inside, pulling it around the outside, and this is sort of a crinkle ribbon, so don't worry about how that's a little bit ruffled. That's the way the ribbon is. Now if you use a different kind of ribbon, it might be flatter. So then I'm just going to pull this around so that looks about even. I've stuck that down now on both ends, and now I can go ahead and seal that up. And I always like to put some over top of the ribbon as well, so you're kind of double sealing it. So that ribbon's not going to move now. And we've got our book fold, our card. And then for that fake bow, it's just a knot. So I'm going to go ahead and take this piece and just stick it underneath. I got extra ribbon here, so I'll go ahead and try to save as much as I can because I can tie another knot with it. Let's see, we'll go this way. And then I'll take my fabric scissors and trim that like that. So that's my faux knot, or faux bow, which is just a knot. And we're almost finished with this card. So we need to go ahead and stamp our inside sentiment. And I've got a little scrap here to stamp my outside sentiment. So on the outside, we're going to use 'Tis the Season. And on the inside, we're going to put Merry Christmas. Again, these are from that same stamp set. And I used Balmy Blue for that. So we're going to open up our Balmy Blue. We're going to start with Merry Christmas. Get that inked up. This is a very juicy ink pad. Very nice. And we're going to ink up 'Tis the Season. All right, those look great. Close my ink. Going to pull that same punch back in, double oval punch. And for this one, I'm just going to use the scallop. And I want to get this right in here. And if I need to, I can use a little piece of tape to help me move that around. So you can either stick it on the outside edge, or you can just use your tape to move your piece around like that. I think that looks pretty good. Go ahead and cut that out. All right, we are almost finished with this card. So we're going to go ahead and put this sentiment inside. So you can see on this one I have a lot more space around it because I actually cut it the right size, whereas opposed to the other one I had just a narrow margin around it. And then for our 'Tis the Season, again, I like to pop it up on dimensionals, so I'm going to just go ahead and pop this onto a few dimensionals like that. I still have glue on my finger and it just wants to stick. All right. And I think I do want to preserve as much of the trees as possible, so I'm trying to pick a spot that I don't mind hiding. I think I like up here for this one. So we will stick it right up there. And then one thing you can do with this, if you don't like the way that this is popping up, you can slide a little glue dot underneath there to hold that down. I may do that, I may not, but I do that with a lot of my cards just so that it kind of stays down. And then the last thing is, let's put some bling on here. And what I did with the other one was I picked the snowflakes and I put some bling inside the snowflakes, but you can put them anywhere that you want. I do think I'm going to use the blue again. And maybe I will just do that. I'll just put 3 little blue ones out there. All right, so there's that card, and that's it. These are such simple, beautiful cards. So I'll pull these back in, the ones we made today. I'll pull those back in, and then I have something I want to show you. I always try to tell you that, you know, use the concept. If you don't want to make Christmas cards, use this concept, use this layout for something else. So I made a couple of cards that I'm going to show you. Here's the first one, a little birthday card. This is using a new bundle that comes out in January in our new mini catalog that comes out on January 4th, I believe. And I think it's called Be Mine is the suite. The stamp set is actually a stamp and punch set called Be My Valentine. Love it. It's such a cute little stamp set, and this paper is part of it as well. I used those same gems that we used today. I used a cloud punch for this. Just such a pretty card. Now this was super simple. This is exactly the same layout that we just did, and all I did was I just took a piece of black cardstock. I think I cut it to maybe 1 inch, and I cut it to the length, and then I cut a little bit off so that I could have my little bend. That's it. And then on the inside I put You're Too Wonderful and a little bit of a honeycomb in there in Daffodil Delight. Isn't that just so pretty? I just love that card. So that's a birthday card version, and here's another one. So brighter, more fun, again, same suite, Be My Valentine stamp set or bundle. I used these oval punches that we used today, and then just the designer series paper, a little bit of ribbon, and then inside. So I just wanted to show you, it's, you know, this is not a layout that has to be for Christmas. You can use this for any season, any occasion. Just a hi card, a hello, how are you doing? I'm thankful for you, grateful for you, any kind of card. But it's just such a simple layout, and when you have a beautiful paper, you just don't need much else. So I think that's going to do it for today. Please remember, if you enjoyed this video, to give me a like. I would really appreciate it. If you'd like to see more of my videos, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. I'm posting once a week right now, and I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see. If there's anything in particular that you like or don't like about my video that you'd like to see, I would love to bring out more content that you're asking for. We have new product coming out. So I have another Christmas video coming next week. And then after that, we're going to be talking about some of our new product that's coming out with Stampin' Up! So I really appreciate your time today. I am so thankful for you. And for those of you in the United States, when you see this video, it'll be after Thanksgiving, but I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.